set to go for the Foundation Cup Grand Final. Umpire Tim Pfeiffer holds the ball aloft and they are set to go. Good crowd and pretty good conditions, no sign of rain. Arnold and also Nickel doing the ruck work for their respective teams. Big pack in the centre, and there'll be a ball up on the attacking side of centre for the Eagles. Central District won the toss. They decided to kick to the southern end of the ground, and we're expecting a big game of football here. Plenty at stake. The Eagles, they're the reigning night premiers, and for Central District it's the first time ever in a grand final. So what a moment for these 22 boys for Central District. McKinnon's got the footy, Nichols got him the free kick, and it goes to Marty McKinnon at centre half back for Central District. There's the kick out by Green, a long one to the far side of the ground. Chance for Peter Schwarz, who's back in the team after injury for the Eagles. High kick, McKinnon getting underneath it, so too Stevens, and Stevens takes the mark on the half-back flank out of side.
His kick towards half forward. They hit the deck. Squirts in there. Ingerson as well. So too Schwarz. Finally they come out with it. The Dogs are forward. Underneath it, Nickel couldn't take it. It looked easy but wasn't. Finally the Eagles clear, and this is through Hannum. That's Sean Hannum. Oh, the Zillas, they play well every week for the Eagles. Morford, he kicked 4 in the first quarter against West Adelaide. They're going through the bias now, over the 50. Taylor in front, big knock from behind. Finally through Wakeland, cool as you like. Left foot, and the kick, not as good as it should have been to McKinnon. Oh, the kick a bad one, straight to Jason Zilla.
Zilla far side, the 22-year-old, 52 games under his belt. Gets on with it, Taylor the target, up he goes. Couldn't control it, had it knocked away. Pays runs onto the bouncing ball, had a blinder of the first quarter last week. Here's a chance now for Kennedy under enormous pressure. Over there too is Abbott, and he's forced out of bounds, but he's going to get a free kick. So the defender, John Abbott, gets on with it, kicks to half-back. Chance now for, that was Timothy Cook, number 6. Now Zilla got it from Totham. Totham kicks towards centre half forward. Taylor storms out. At the back is Hicks, overruns it. Here's an Eagles chance now. Taylor had to steal it from his teammate, then he got caught. Well done, picked up by Damien Arnold. He was working hard. They're out of trouble here, Central District.
And the body work and the pressure is pretty good from the Dogs early. Bruce Winters said in this morning's press he expected that Swirt, the biggest possession getter alongside McGowan at the Dogs. Schwarz runs through the centre of the ground. Has a look, he wanted Taylor. The kick's a terrible one. Taylor first to it. He'll be mobbed by Dogs. A chance now to Bias. Caught, Girdham. Had a big one last week. He had 16 and 20 handballs. The Dogs are working hard. This is Grant. He'll try and do it alone. Great tackle. It's Kennedy.
Wasn't rewarded though. What a fantastic opening to this game. Very quick and physical. We're expecting a game where players from both sides will throw themselves in at it. They've both got very high tackling rates, but the pace of the game at the moment, absolutely spot on.
Yes, no score yet, 3 minutes gone. Nichols slung off the football, got the kick away. Here's Stevens running into the back pocket, gets it across to McGowan. He slips it infield now for Windsor. Windsor with a clever hand pass to Potter, in trouble though. Just couldn't quite get rid of it. Yes, he does. Well done to Gurdon, the skipper for Central District. Shocking hand pass. Pesh, over it goes now to Zilla. Short pass and getting back and defending well. He's done very well, John Abbott, in the early stages.
Yes, and he played well at Adelaide Oval last week for the Dogs. In the game in round 8, it was a Raider. Far side is McKinnon. Did it well, the left footer. Through the centre to Romers. He kicked 4 himself last week, had a big one. Ingerson puts it forward. They'd love to get the first goal, the Dogs. They're a chance. That's Richardson. Goes to Swirt. Holding the ball. Stephen.
It was hot, wasn't it? I think you'll find that Stephen Swirt did take the ball, but equally quickly it was gone. The replay just after possession was taken, and indeed a 25-metre penalty to boot. So Stephen Swirt, who started so very well last week with the first goal for the Bulldogs and then continued to finish it off. He finished with 6 as a rover. Looks to have started on the ball as well tonight.
And Eagles, they're top of the ladder. They've won 7, lost 1. And Central 5 and 3. They're in second place on percentage over Port Adelaide by 1.5. There's a pretty tight bunch there. Three clubs on 5 wins. The kick is in long. Kennedy underneath it, couldn't quite take it. Morfitt can't get through. Tobias almost. A chance, Kennedy. Around the corner, the bounce. Not quite. First score, 5 minutes in, and it's the Eagles.
A couple of good forays into their forward line by the Eagles. Bruce Winter watching on. He was fairly cool before the game, despite the fact that they'd lost 3 key players in Negri, Schwartz and David Neiman.
Ray Windsor to McGowan. McGowan to the half-back flank. And well done by Stevens. Stevens kicks toward right half forward. Ingerson into the air. Good knock away from behind. Stolen away though by Timothy Cook. He did well. Got the hand pass to his teammate. Now it's with Stevens on centre wing on this grandstand side. Kicks to midfield. Getting underneath it. Kennedy takes a good mark on his chest. Direction not good there. So Kennedy defensive side of centre for the Eagles. Gets on with it in a hurry. Taylor! No, couldn't quite take it. He's been paid a push. Push out. Taylor gets a chance here to put a score on the board for the Eagles. So Taylor is going to kick from about 50 metres. He no doubt will be one of the key players in this Eagles side. Negri, Schwartz and Neiman all out. Late exclusions.
All big men too.
Here's Taylor. 50 metres. Kick on its way. It's got the distance and it's got the accuracy. No, he's missed. Missed to the right-hand side. Fooled us all.
Yes. It's normally a bit more accurate than that, Taylor. Long way, though. A long kick.
It is a long way, and there's a very healthy breeze from left to right as he was looking at the northern end. As you can see there, the flags are standing on end. If anything, this breeze is a little fluky, but it is going directly across the ground.
The kick in now. On a lead on the far side, it was Damien Arnold. And he can't quite control it. So conditions ideal here at Footy Park for the Foundation Cup Grand Final. Reigning Foundation Cup premiers, the Eagles I should say, and also reigning premiers of the local competition. Green on the left foot, he sends the Dogs forward. They'd love to kick the first goal. Can't quite hit Reimers. Schwarz. And they're out of trouble, the Eagles, but only as far as McGowan, too high on him, 50 metres or 25. The tap of the elbow, and McGowan, can't he knock up getting possessions? He got 12 and 22 last week. That's 22 handballs. Just a super player for the Dogs. Up high, front position. Did it very, very well too, Rogers. Plenty of experience there.
Anthony Ingerson needed to play in front. Looks as though he's just started at centre half forward. Damien Arnold's in the ruck.
Rogers sweeps it to Toddem. Toddem toward the wing. Good mark taken by Tobias. Very clever player. He just came in from the side and took it on his chest. Long kick towards centre half forward. McKinnon at the back, a clever knock. Here's Potter running onto the football. Gurdon tried to juggle it, couldn't do so. Schwarz now the captain. A slick hand pass to accommodate Michael Wakeland. And in fact, it's Rowan Thorne. Thorne's kick into the forward pocket. Down there is Taylor. Out of bounds, right forward pocket. Good build up there, but nothing doing.
Was a good build-up in Thorne. Rowan Thorne, we saw him in his first game a couple of weeks ago. In fact, the Anzac Day game, he kicked 3 goals that day, and including the first 2 for the Eagles, was quite a sensational game from him. A very good player.
At almost centre wing, Ingerson's there. Nickel is the half-back or centre half-back for the Eagles. Rogers was well smothered in his attempt to get it forward, so the Dogs with plenty of pressure.
They'll be at you, there's no doubt about that, particularly with a player at the ball. The only time we've seen that misguided was at Port Pirie in the last month or so, when they were thumped by North Adelaide, but generally speaking, they're first at the ball and good attacking on the body as well.
This is Schwert. He had a big one last week too. He had kicked 6 goals, had 21 possessions. Stevens has been held. I think that was pretty obvious. Centre wing, or just forward of centre wing. A lot of time. He's a favourite of mine, Stevens. He just gives you his heart all day. Ingerson on the left boot. He puts it in high, or maybe in the back of. That was Robert Hanley, Chopper Hanley, but not so, and out of bounds. The crowd at Footy Park are well rugged up for this Foundation Cup Grand Final and enjoying every bit of the action as we are.
Eagles are 2 points. Central District yet to score. We've played almost 10 minutes of the first quarter. Nickel tried to get a hand to it. Spear did cleverly. Now Rogers away from the dangerous area, just puts the ball to ground, gets on with it, kicks it toward the half-back flank. Now it's drifting up toward the wing. Here's Zilla trying desperately to pick up. Coming at him is Hicks. Zilla does well, gets the hand pass away. It was too quick for his teammate. In comes Tobias. Over the top he goes now to Zilla again. This is Stephen. Long kick toward Taylor. At the back, no mark taken by Windsor. He was under enormous pressure there from Taylor. They've done a pretty good job on Taylor so far. It's been 2 against 1, and there'll be a throw in left forward pocket.
It's a good tough player, John Abbott. He loves it in close and he loves it tough. 10.5 minutes into the first term, already some very good possessions from him. Taylor is well blanketed, and in the absence of some of those big men, he has to do the rucking work in the forward line.
And the Dogs, they almost lost the opportunity for this Foundation Cup Grand Final with their loss to North in Port Pirie, but they bounced back with a big one on the weekend. And they defeated South. They crushed them by 92 points. And would Port Adelaide be ruining their opportunity? They got done here at Football Park a week and a half ago by West Adelaide after having led by 61 points and failed to make an appearance tonight. Out of trouble almost, but it's stolen by Freeborn. As cool as you like, he punches it and he wanted Taylor. Too far for him. Good work, the Dogs. Potter to Windsor, and this is Stevens. Pays with him. Harassment, one-on-one. You won't see a better clash. And the umpire did it well, he let it go. Hicks, short. Cook, got it onto McKinnon. High, and again in front is Rogers. He took the building over the head, took front position, or is that Nicol? See them as we get up.
It's Stuart Nicol, and called it well. 3 entries inside of half forward for Central District, and each and every time an Eagles defender's been in front. And quite rightly, far side, Scott Stevens, magnificent work.
So 11 minutes in, both teams goalless, and the first goal might have a bit of an impact on confidence as Pesh tears forward again. They look good, the Eagles, as they go forward. Players to ground, in particular, was Arnold. Oh, they work it out brilliantly, the Dogs, and they're out of trouble again. McGowan, he gets into space, doesn't he, all the time. He's got squirt, but he chooses the left himself, and he puts it beautifully to find Huey Remus.
Doing kick a goal, doing well in defence. They're not panicking, are they?
Oh, cool as you like. And they're playing with a lot of confidence, the Dogs.
So doing it well back there. They're working back with their followers. Potter and the like are getting back, providing some extra numbers and playing it nice and cool.
12, 6 and 4 goals last week. He's opened up well. The Dogs get the first one. We're 13 minutes into the first quarter, and the Dogs lead by 4 points.
Central District opted not to play Grant Coffey after they were belted in Port Pirie by North Adelaide. They dropped in for a game that was such an important one for them against South Adelaide, and then they promptly came out and won the game by 89 points. They've elected now to start with Reimers at full forward. It's not a bad option. He's competitive, he marks strongly, and he's usually a very accurate kick.
Central District to 1 goal, the Eagles 2 points. And we've played 13 minutes of the 1994 Foundation Cup Grand Final. First time ever Central District have made a grand final, and the Eagles have been there twice before. They won this last year against Port, and they won the day grand final against Norwood. Shock loss last week against West Adelaide. Here's Abbott now from centre wing, chips toward right half forward. They've got a chance here. This is Ingerson wheeling and dealing around Rogers. Clever kick. Oh, they've got a big chance here now, Central District. This is Schwert. He's 45 metres out, and he has almost kicked a goal. Nicol getting back. It's a behind. Big build-up.
Great piece of work by Anthony Ingerson, wasn't it? Because Taylor's no slouch. He just sweated off. Andrew Rogers playing a centre half back, but Ingerson snared it beautifully. One clean take and wheeled around. Then to have the presence to find Schwert. Unfortunately, just didn't quite come off.
7 points to 2, a 5-point lead early in the game. So that'll do the confidence of the young Central side a lot of good. They're playing against league leaders. Jason Zilla got it out to Morfitt. He was well tackled though. Holding on was the call. And the free kick, Morfitt pays now. They've got the run. Plenty of skill pays. He just pops it up. Watch for Taylor. 2 grabs. Play on. Touched. Good call. Stephen Zilla. Bang! Hit the post. Good footy.
Bang indeed, right onto the post. Looked like it was coming back, didn't it? He did everything right by popping it up there because that breeze, as I said was coming from left to right, and it is very strong. Sat it up there beautifully. Didn't quite come back far enough.
So Ray Windsor from the northern end of the ground. 15 minutes gone, first quarter of the grand final. Long kick. Harada takes a very strong mark at half-back in opposition to Kennedy. Brian Harada, long kick toward the wing. Remus, who's already taken a big grab. Free kick against Remus, and it's going to the Eagles. It'll go to Freeborn. Far side of the ground, centre wing. Glenn Freeborn, the 21-year-old, directs play to the right half forward flank. Taylor comes out, couldn't take the mark. It just slipped between his hands, kicks off the ground. Tobias running onto the football, and Tobias kicks the goal. Great work. Brilliantly read. First goal for the Eagles. They're 1-3. They've hit the front. Central are 1-1.
It's a great piece of roving work from Tobias. He's active early, 3 kicks and 2 handballs so far. Look at that, snuck inside of David Green, who's picking him up. Jagged it around the body, and it's an important goal for them because whilst they'd had plenty of entries inside of their forward line, just weren't getting the return.
The Eagles, 1 goal, 3, 9 points. They lead the Dogs 1-1-7. Halfway through this first quarter, Kennedy. His entree through the centre is good. He weaves and ducks, gets his kick away. And getting back underneath it is that man again. He's playing well, Johnny Abbott. Chips across, dangerous, but gets away with it. Harada. Abbott's had 4 kicks, no handballs, been active as well. Nicely kept in by Wakeland. No pressure at all there, was there? Stevens he wants, can't. And in the back of...
Well, yes, in the back, but they were very, very lucky because the kick was a very ordinary one, set him up no end.
Too right it did, and put him under all sorts of pressure. Sean Hannam's kick, not much better going the other way. Stevens again, knocks up getting possessions and does it pretty well. Through the legs, clean bowl, Morford. Ingerson off the ground. This is a chance for the Dogs. Swirt! He kicked 6 last week. He'll need a heck of a good bounce from there, though, won't he? It's out of bounds.
He'll need a Shane Warne.
Absolutely.
He'd need a miracle, but quite rightly, 6 goals last week, quite outstanding. And a real threat in front of goals. He made his name, of course, as a half-back flanker, but he can kick the big ones.
Eagles by 2 points. It's up in the attacking zone for Central District. Can they make something out of this? Through Zilla's hands, picked up by Reimers. Clever hand pass. Now Girdham, a high kick to the goal square. Nickel, oh gee, lost sight of it. Then they had a second bite and took it in the end, but it was a critical one. Kicks it to Hannam on the half-back flank on the far side of the ground. He goes for a run and has 2 bounces, looking for someone to give it off to. Eventually goes very long. Up goes Wakeland, and Wakeland's taken the mark on his chest, and he'll bang this back in for Central.
Defences from both sides are playing themselves in front, giving themselves the best chance. It's one of the reasons that we've only got 2 goals on the board 18 minutes in for the first term.
So the Dogs, they go over that or into their forward line once again. Hannam, slick, Schwarz works hard. No help though. The numbers of the Dogs, and they'll win the contest. Hanley. Finally they even up the numbers, the Eagles, but just a little bit too late.
Don't forget, of course, the prize money tonight, $17,500 for the winner. It's worth winning, isn't it? And for getting into the grand final, $10,000 for second place.
Remembering that these teams have, by being first and second, have obviously had wins on the way in, so they've probably already pocketed maybe 1 or 2 checks. And so if you get away with a couple of wins during the rounds and you win this one tonight, 16,000, it makes a pretty good check for local footy clubs. This is Zilla. Jason tight, Morford. A runner who can cross a line and usually kicks very accurately, not on that occasion. And Kennedy is in the back of, on that occasion, Arnold plays on. Abbott, left foot, high. Stevens is there, he's got the sit. He's got Girdham in front of him and he wants him. The run, the hands weren't good enough there, but he got it back, Stevens. Or Girdham, I should say. And playing in front and playing very well is Sean Hannam. And he's one of the best 4 and 2, Steve.
Just an example of playing in front and the advantages in it. With the breeze not really favouring either end. Look at that for an ordinary kick. With the breeze not favouring either end, really is important just to play in front, give yourself the best access.
Glenn Freeborn now kicks beyond the wing, looking for Tobias down there on the half-forward flank. Green is with him. He's not far away. He's breathing down his neck. Good crowd. Eagle supporters there just a little nervous in the early stages. No doubt perhaps just a little cold as well. Conditions cool, no sign of rain though. Just a little windy. And we're into time on, 20-minute quarters. Plus time on, that's where we are at the moment. Big Nickel, as we've mentioned. Negri not playing tonight, he's injured, so too is Neiman. And also Alan Schwartz out, close to the boundary line. Reimers got pulled over the shoulder. Ingerson barges his way through, but it's got to go back. And it's going back to Big Hugh Reimers. Here he goes. Oh, what a terrible kick, Hugh. That was not good, and Hannam's got the footy now. They turn it around up toward Taylor territory in front, knocked away by Windsor again, who's doing pretty well down there. Taylor somehow gets it. Now Zilla. This is Jason. High kick, looking for Cluzak in front. Over the top of him was Wakeland. Potter didn't panic again. They're doing pretty well in defence, the Central District side. It's bouncing into the forward pocket and out of bounds.
Absolutely perfect. Potter's working back well, he's providing some extra support in numbers, as you quite rightly say. He just doesn't panic, stays nice and cool. And I know from boundary side that he uses plenty of voice at the same time.
Just got a feeling the Eagles are just a little bit unbalanced through that forward line. If you remember back a few weeks where they had Neiman, Taylor, Filippo, Cluzak, they really had a good run of people through centre half forward. Shaki's not playing in the seniors at the moment, and Nickel, as we know, is at centre half back. And particularly with the absence of Filippo, they just look a little bit unbalanced. That'll be in favour of Central. Forward they go, and defending well the Dogs as Swirt takes the short one. He again goes short and does it very confidently through the centre of the ground. This is Marty McKinnon. They've got some left footers in their side, haven't they? They've switched the play and done it pretty well. Hicks, well, that's not Hicks. In fact, that is Michael Wakeland. His kick is good, and he finds Girdham, number 10, the skipper. He's had 3 and 5. He's getting plenty of touches. Sean Hannam under pressure. Ingerson, spear to ground. A charge. Cook, left foot. And in close. Good contest. And doing it pretty well was Devine. Mark Devine, as the first quarter comes to a halt at Footy Park. The margin, 2 points. Eagles now. They're 2-4-16. They lead by 9 points over the Dogs. Let's have a look at this in slow-mo. Taylor. He's been well held so far, Steve, but on that occasion, too strong in the air.
Certainly been well held. The defences from both sides are on top, as would be indicated by 2 goals to the Eagles and only 1 to Central, 2-4 to 1-1. Both sides tended to play in front. There's a strong breeze at Football Park tonight, but I can tell you that it's blowing exactly across the ground, one side to the other, from the grandstand side to the far side.
Early minutes in this second quarter here in the Foundation Cup. It's a fantastic night here at Football Park, and the contest had opened up very aggressively in the first quarter, and it looks like just going on like that. Potter sends the Dogs forward. Ingerson pushed out of the way. Finally Hannum, he's done a good job in defence. Zilla, Jason gets it forward, and Morfitt takes it. Doing pretty well, Morfitt, to date. Stephen Zilla doing pretty well also. He's had 5 and 2, and the ball beats everybody out of bounds. The Dogs, well, they've been in the competition for 30 years. They haven't won a flag. And on the other hand, the old West Torrens had won 4. The New Eagles have won 2. The Foundation Cup in 93 and the SANFL Grand Final in 93. This is their 3rd Grand Final in 2 years. Winter's done a pretty good job.
No doubt about that. And if it looks like a sea of blue out there, you're quite right. Those Guernseys are very hard to pick from a wide angle. And it's one of the reasons that Central District sought some weeks ago to get the Eagles jumper changed, and the result of that is a gold set of numbers on the back of the jumpers. Good mark by Ingerson, and a gold band on the bottom of the jumpers if they come out.
Eagles lead by 9 points. Stevens gets on with it now for Central District. At the back is Reimers. Couldn't control the mark. Well done by Spear. He read that quite superbly. Kicks to Morfitt territory on the far side, and Scotty Morfitt. Well, he stretched every sinew there in his body, and he took a good mark, a diving mark from Scotty Morfitt, far side of the ground. Taking plenty of time. There's the kick up toward left half forward. Hereda. Good strong mark taken by the defender. And he'll just go a short one. And does. Schwert, one of the fittest players in the local competition, is on the Crows list. Kicks to midfield. Anthony Ingerson, another man on the Crows list. Knocked away by Stevens. Only into the waiting arms there of Rogers. Rogers with a high kick up to right half forward. Down there is McKinnon. He's outnumbered at the moment, but he's done very well. And McKinnon, superb work. Kicks out into the open spaces now. Can Central District mount something? No, it's out of bounds before Hicks could get there.
Coach Alan Stewart a little pensive. The Central District rooms before the game were considerably on edge. However, just down the hallway, the Eagles' rooms were cool and calm despite the fact that they'd lost 3 key players. Negri's out, Schwartz is out, Alan Schwartz, and David Neiman.
So they've had to go in with a smaller profile, but it's still a substantial profile. Good take on that occasion by Rowan Thorne. He puts it in long, beautifully read though by Windsor. He got back and took it pretty easy. This is Ray Windsor. He has players everywhere, chooses to go short. And Damien Arnold goes on quickly. Schwert had 20 kicks, 1 handball, 6 goals in the game against South Adelaide Oval on the weekend, and he's piling up stats here tonight. He's had 5 and 2. Ball to ground, loose ball, Green. He's tough at the foot, he always is. On the ground, doing it pretty well tonight is Stephen Zilla. They go forward again. Schwartz, the skipper, puts it up high. Watch for Taylor, he likes these. Keeps it on the ground. That's well done by Windsor. Holding the ball, the crowd yell. The umpire won't have any of it. First to it was Kennedy. He's playing at centre half forward tonight. And coming away with it again is Marty McKinnon. He's having a blinder.
Yes, he's playing very well. Kicks to McGowan. McGowan over the top. Now sending Reimers away. Reimers, he was just a bit slow there. Hayes got him. Over the top goes Ingerson. Into the path of McGowan again. McGowan, a chip pass. Inside 50. Outstorms Richardson. Here's Handley. And Handley has missed. He's missed everything. He's out of bounds on the full.
Something of a mixed bag from Richardson there. When he led, he cut the leg of the player with the ball streaming down that grandstand side off. Then the take was magnificent, and the give was very good as well. Unfortunately, Robert Handley couldn't quite finish it off. And another example at the other end of the ground where numbers, Neville, are getting back and picking up and providing some rebound. It's all working for the defences at the moment.
Yes, they are doing the work. The Eagles, they lost their first game for the season on Saturday against West Adelaide. The Giant Killers at the moment by 32 points. Out of bounds on the full. The Dogs will take that just backward of centre. And that ended a 14-game unbeaten run, going back as far as last season, of course, when they won the premiership. So They haven't tasted much defeat, the Eagles. In Central, they had a bad one in Port Pirie a fortnight ago. They were terrific on the weekend to demolish South and won this position in the Foundation Cup. Bodies in. Girdham is there. Totham, Chance, Messi, and we certainly have a ball up centre field, and it's the Eagles by 9 points.
Don't forget, of course, that these quarters are just 20 minutes plus time on. It's a Foundation Cup fixture for which there's been one game allocated through the first 9 rounds, and it's a shorter game than usual, so we'll finish a bit earlier.
Eagles lead by 9 points. Zilla gets it to his brother. It was Jason to Stephen. Long kick. Arnold lumbers after it. Controls it well for a big man. Did very, very well. Then boots it toward right half forward. Big pack into the air. Chance now for the Zillas again. They're combining superbly now. Totham. Finally, Totham kicks towards centre half forward. Taylor on a lead. Over his head and Ray Windsor. Coming in late was Pesh. Well done by Hicks. Then in the end he lost it. Chance for Pays, and Pays has missed everything. This time to the southern end. It's out of bounds on the full.
Andrew Pays is playing on centre wing, so too is Stephen Zilla. Interestingly though, just after the first bounce, they switched sides so that Pays could pick up Stevens and Zilla could pick up the lanky Damien Hicks. A bit of a mismatch in terms of height, but obviously Bruce Winter saw it as a better match.
Opportunity for Pays. He's a big kick getter, he always is. He had 19 and 10 last week against West Adelaide. Taylor missed the lot. Chance for Cluzak. Off the ground for him. Abbott. And McGowan. 22 handballs last week. He is a star, this boy in the centre. Ingerson wants to get it through quickly. He's got the runners and it's through Stevens. If it sits, he's under pressure. They've got the numbers though. This is Girdham, the skipper. Clever. Stevens. Cool. Didn't panic. Puts it through half forward. Opportunity squirt. It was missed completely with the handball. Nickel and the Eagles. They're pretty cool in defence. Freeborn comes down this grandstand side and the kick is an absolute gem to find Kennedy. You wouldn't want anything better than that on the lead. He's at centre wing and just puts it up high. Taylor late. He's got a clear run. Can't take it. Ball to ground. And they mop up in defence, and they've done it pretty well all night, Mark.
Having a good look at it, Taylor, isn't he? He just can't hold the marks. He's kicked a goal, though. So here's Roger Girdham, one of the most honest players you'll find in the local competition. Kicks to left half forward, but Big Nickel has just used the telescopic arms to advantage and taken a big mark in front of Schwert. Bit of difference in height there. Nickel right half forward, through most players' legs. Chance now for Zilla, gets it to Pays. Pays to Totham. They're working it forward gradually. Kick into the forward pocket, a little indirect there for Cluzak. Out of bounds, and stay with us at half time. Prize money, $17,500 for the winner, $10,000 for the runner-up. Stay with us at half-time. We've got some of the best marks and goals for 1994.
Throw in half forward for the Eagles. Pesh almost. McKinnon was the player that tackled him. He's been very good in defence tonight. Girdham too high on that play. Call his play on. A chance now. Hicks. Pays has got him. Too high on that play. Play on. Unlucky. The Dogs, they should have got the last two. McKinnon. McGowan dispossessed by Rogers. Clever. Holding the ball would be just a little bit tough on them.
Agreed. And the temper's just starting to flare a bit, but it is good umpiring because they're just letting it go. And in keeping with the final, bounce it down and get on with it. The run of the game has been very good.
And Freeborn stretches out on that left boot. It's a terrible kick. Didn't like it much at all himself, I don't think. Morford, clever. Caught is Stephen Zilla. Gets rid of it. Tobias, beating everything. To ground, Jason Zilla. Tobias. Stevens has got him. The tackling's good. The body pressure's good. It's a great game of footy. To ground they go. Thought. He usually does the impossible. He can't this time. And he is out of bounds on the foot.
The Eagles have just made a change. Sean Hannam has come off of the ground and Sean Ballins has come on for his first game, number 22. I suspect very strongly that that's because on the far side, Hannam didn't attack the ball with quite the fervour that Bruce Winter would have liked. And as a consequence, he's off of the deck.
Eagles lead by 9 points. This is Rogers, and Rogers from centre wing. An awkward kick to Taylor territory. He's harassing his opponent. Well done though by Girdham. Received the hand pass from Wakeland. And there's a free kick for over the shoulder. It's going Central District's way. This is Roger Girdham getting up.
Just a little bit too high. Quick take. And Girdham's tough. It won't hurt him.
Here's Ray Windsor now, running the ball away from the dangerous half-back area. Kicks toward Schwert over on the far side. It just runs behind all players and goes out of bounds. Far side of the ground, that's the eastern wing. You're watching this on ABC TV Sport, live from Football Park, the grand final of the Foundation Cup. The defending champions, the Eagles, up against Central District, who have never played in a grand final before.
And won't they enjoy that? Notice that in this morning's press, Alan Stewart, the coach of the Dogs, said they just got to stand up and be counted. Unless you win a flag, you've got to take what people say about you. Free kick the Dogs, 30 from goal.
Andrew Rogers not happy about it. He's lined up at centre half back. Well, there wasn't much in that one, given that the run of the play has been let go fairly much. To pluck that one out to Robert Hanley. That was a little bit picky. Nonetheless, has given Hanley a chance from around about 40 metres. Quiet start to the game, just his second kick.
You saw the first one, it was out on the full. Can he do any better with this one? It'll go close, but it's a little offline. In fact, it's offline to the left, and he would be disappointed with that.
Both sides just missing a bit through half forward at the moment. Hanley needs to lift through that area. Ingerson's done a little bit at centre half forward. At the other end of the ground, the Eagles have got Kennedy playing at centre half forward, which is an interesting move in the absence perhaps of some of those other tools. So both sides just being let down in that area a little at the moment.
Eagles lead by just 8 points. And the Eagles now running it away. Long kick by Nicol. Over on the far side was Kennedy. Now they've got a chance here. This is Green. Central District now banging it back up toward right half forward. Nicol is in the middle of about 3 or 4 players. Arnold is there for Central District. And there'll be a ball up, far side.
It's a crucial part of the game. Bruce Winter, the coach of the Eagles, must think this way too. 16 points. They lead by 8. If they get the next goal, they really are motoring. On the other hand, if the Dogs get it, they put pressure back on the Eagles.
15 and a half minutes gone, second quarter. Nick Pesh, long kick. Ray Windsor hit him on the chest. Who's doing such a grand job so far. Him and 2 or 3 other defenders for Central District. Taylor's having his work cut out. Long kick to Potter, one of those players who's doing well in defence. He's not panicking, he's just doing some good work right back in the back pocket region. Long kick, up goes Reimers. He's taken a big mark. Alan Stewart said today that Reimers had to take more marks. He's already taken 2 or 3. Long kick to Richardson. Was he pushed in the back? The umpire didn't seem to think so. Girdham, very good tackle there by Rogers, and there'll be a ball up.
The answer was 100% yes. He was pushed out. Girdham was under all sorts of pressure. Magnificent tackle in the end by Rogers to claim it, but just a little bit lucky, the Eagles deep in their defence then, because Richardson really got a shove.
And wasn't that a great piece of work by Rogers? What experience does for you. Lucky not to get holding the ball. The Eagles, they combine. That's Thorne. And he's got the runner. Devine looks. Really wanted to give that one away, didn't he? That's Stephen Zilla now. Oh, it's beautifully put straight to his brother. They do that by just remote control. Jason Zilla in the picture now. He puts it up high. Taylor in front, can't take it. And if you like to see some courage, it's right there in front of you, Brian Herrera.
Brian Herrera is in rare form at the moment. That takes a bit of courage to stand in front with Taylor burning down on you like that. Things have started well also at full back, so Taylor's got his hands full at full forward even.
Schwert to Abbott is good, and the left footer puts it up high again, but they're not having a lot of luck through half forward. Devine with the punch. He got it away nicely. Through strongly was Pesh. And this is Cook. Chip. Beautiful vision. Fine Stevens, 30 from goal. Potter, in fact, was the player that kicked.
Magnificent vision as he came around the corner, and Stevens just lurked down. He loves to do that, get himself inside of half forward. And so far from him, plenty of possession from centre wing. Good kick, 40 metres out.
He'd love to kick this. He puts it up high, and it deserved a goal. Unlucky and offline. But I think, with credit where it's due, it was, I think, Cook that got it to him, and it was a good piece of footy. Stevens made position, and they've got to finish those, Steve.
No doubt about it. They've had a few opportunities. They're in a position where they just have to kick them when they get inside of 50 like that.
Here's Spear to the far side of the ground. Rogers up in front. Stevens hustling and bustling again. gives it to Schwert inside 50. Outstorms Richardson again. Gurdon, well done. The captain's in trouble though. Richardson holding the ball. Gurdon caught holding the ball.
Didn't have long, did he? Had another one at the other end of the ground in the first quarter, Roger Gurdon, where it was just like lightning.
Yes, it's quick footy at the moment, isn't it? Just no time at all. Spears demanding that somebody give him something to kick to. In games like this, the pressure just stays on all the time. Players have to keep and maintain the work. Pesh in trouble, slips the tackles. Inside he goes and he finds Stephen Ziller. Always has a good eye, puts it in high. Behind was Harada. Kennedy took front spot. This is Schwert, puts it down. That's holding the ball, surely. Totem, Kennedy and Tobias. Forward they go, the Eagles. The kick is pretty good, but it's well spoiled on that occasion by Wakeland. The Eagles, 20 from goal, Windsor by himself, and has a week to do what he likes. Schwert, or I should say Marty McKinnon, they're all left footers. That's about all they have in common. The ball's to ground. Now this is Potter, over the ball, has a look, has a couple of options, takes the worst of them, goes to Reimers. Kluzak did beautifully. Oh, Pesh, savage by Gurdon. Potter caught. Players go to ground. Got a ball game on our hands here at Footy Park.
Magnificent tackle by Roger, wasn't it? Look at that, tough in at the body, and Pesh will know that he's been tackled there. Of course, these two sides are two of the toughest physical sides. It's been well documented. An average a couple of weeks ago for the Eagles of 34 tackles a game, and for Central at 31, equals second with Port Adelaide.
Into time on now, second quarter, 7 points the margin. The Eagles lead. Chance for Kluzak. Sweeps the hand pass to the dangerous Pays. Infield he goes now to Ziller. And Ziller about 65 metres out. Windsor at the back. Or almost. Oh, he's Taylor off the ground and out of bounds on the full. Well, he didn't get it then, Windsor, but geez, having a blinder, isn't he?
Oh, he's been a big player tonight. Taylor copying Ablett and Modra.
What's that mean?
Kicking off the ground. It's just become a trend in football in Australia in the last couple of years.
That one was fairly ambitious. Talk about Ray Windsor. We saw him at Port Pirie have a dreadful day. Went from full back to full forward and just couldn't get amongst it. Apparently last week against South Adelaide, however, was quite outstanding in the game tonight. 8 kicks, 3 handballs and a couple of good marks from fullback.
7 points separate the two sides. It's a beauty here at Footy Park. It's a great night. It's Foundation Cup Grand Final. The reigning premiers, the Eagles, and the Cupless Dogs. Can they get up for their first ever? Kennedy in the ruck. He's caught Arnold. He does so much of that work and he does it so well. And he has earned, or given this on this occasion, the free kick. Kennedy outside of 50. He'll be looking for Taylor. Morford's out early. There's some space. Harada's in it. Taylor will have to jump the both of them. He did it almost. 2-3 off the ground. Not quite. And Wakeland will see it over the line for 1 point.
Central District are using Brian Harada very intelligently. He's the player that's dropping back and helping out at fullback on Taylor. And the rucking duo are working back through centre-half back, so it's working well for Alan Stewart at the moment. It's good thinking.
And you really do need the big fellas to get back there to lend a hand, take out the spaces, and that'll make Taylor's job just so much harder. He's the only gun up there. They haven't got Philippo, and they haven't got Neiman either up there, and that's always been a three-pronged attack for them. And I feel that they're a little bit underdone in their forward land for strike forward area for strike power, and that'll certainly help Central as the half-time siren sounds here at Football Park, and the margin is 8 points.
Good maths, 2-5 to 1-3. The Eagles just the only